Hey, it's Wallace from Metis Real Estate. Thank you for watching and thanks for being an amazing client. Those of you who worked with us in Q1, you made our day. I just want to remind you, this is a collective of local community members, mothers, fathers, and so forth that really live and work within the communities that we serve. So it's always a pleasure to work with you. You're the ones who drive the wheels over here at Metis, and you're the ones that we always have a fiduciary duty to serve. First and foremost, we're going to talk about what happened in Q1. We're going to talk about the numbers, and then we're going to talk about what I expect to see in the second quarter of 2025, as well as not so much advice, but tips for both buyers and sellers in this current market in the upcoming 90 days. So let's get going. First and foremost, we had a really busy Q1, one of the strongest Q1s we've actually ever seen in my career in owning Metis and in the last 30 years of in real estate. We had a really strong January. A lot of people are coming to the market and they're ready to purchase. We're seeing a lot of people coming back to the area. We're getting more calls from out-of-state buyers who need to relocate to the Bay Area more than ever. So kind of what we saw in Exodus in 2020, 21, 22, we're seeing a lot more incoming in Q1 of this year. That being said, we had a really strong January with aggressive offers, multiple offers. It's never... and I'll get a little bit to that later on, but we also saw things slow down when it came to February. The rains came back, we had Super Bowl, we had ski week. We had a lot of 3-day weekends where buyers were out doing family items and weren't really in the market. So we see the buyer demand come in and out. It's already quite volatile in the second 2 months of Q1. We are still seeing above asking if they're priced correctly. And this depends on knowing what your home is worth in contrast to median price for the neighborhood. The condition of your property really dictates the offers that we're going to perceive as well as time on market. So let's get to the numbers. In Santa Clara County, at the moment, we have a little over 2,281 opportunities. 660 of those are single family homes with the average price point right around 1.6 million. So anything above the 1.6, I would expect to be a little bit more of a challenge to move, depending on neighborhood. I mean, if this property is, say, like in Alum Rock, it's going to take a little longer to move. If it's in Willow Glen, where your average price point's more towards 1.718, that's going to move quite a bit faster. In San Mateo County, we have about 1,106 opportunities at the moment. That's both single families and multi-residential. 472 of those are single families, and we have a median price point about 1.7 million. In San Francisco, this is the one that we're seeing kind of take off and changing. I think Mayor Lori is doing some amazing things in the city. It's been really cleaned up. Restaurants are back, streets are clean, and people are wanting to be back in the city again. We're seeing some growth there. Otherwise, we've seen the city decline. We have about 1,500 opportunities in the city right now. Only 274 of those are single family homes. I think the price point is still pretty good. We're at 1.4 average to purchase a property in the city today. I know over the last few years, we've purchased a lot in the $1 million price range for secondary homes. And I think those of you who still want a secondary home, a pied-à-terre, if you want to call it, a place in the city, you always wanted something in the city, now's the time to do it. I do think the market is still a little suppressed, and I believe that market is only going to trend up in the coming future. Alameda is also the largest county that we serve in the immediate Bay Area. There's about 2,800 opportunities on the market with 1,220 single families. Alameda is primarily a single family suburban community, and it's also the cheapest entry point at 1.1 million for a property there. Now, of course, that is not indicative of properties of, say, like Mission San Jose in Fremont, but that also combines properties that you could purchase for under 600 in, say, San Lorenzo. So Fremont is the area that we have to go in and really parcel out. But I think overall, if bang for buck, your value has always been out in the East Bay. Moving forward, we are seeing some trends, especially what we're able to see in Q1. Two big things that aren't too big of a surprise, but they are proving to be lasting buyer wants. And the first one is garages. Buyers really want a garage. With EVs continuing to go up in sales and become, most families believe either own an EV or believe they'll own an EV in the near future. And in garage charging, it has become a real thing. In the past, garage conversions and garages being used as storage is kind of the norm. Moving forward, people really would like to park their EV in the garage and charge in the garage. So we've had 2 or 3 homes without a garage or garage conversion come on in the market in Q1. All of them have sat for a while and did not meet immediate seller expectations. So if you have a garage or a garage conversion, take note. The other thing that we're looking for is a movement of trends. In the past few years, we've really have moved more into an interior similar like the one I'm sitting in. We have something of a white oak here with white cabinetry, as well as say Swiss coffee or Swiss mocha walls. We're moving into more of the creamy whites, dove white, soft white, luster white. Talked with the local Benjamin Moore representative. Homes that are updated in, like I say, the early 2000s. You could kind of tell when you walk in, they have this gray tinged floor, usually vinyl, with more of a gray wall and interior. Those homes, while fully updated and renovated and turnkey ready, they're not going to create the demand that an updated home with the updated palette is. So it's really important who you work with as a realtor and who their interior designer is. If you are going to make any updates to your home and update it for this current market, make sure the Pantones and the materials are to the expectations of the buyers in that specific market. And what I mean by that is if you're updating a home, say in Evergreen or even parts of San Jose, you could get away with Kwikset hardware, hollow core doors. But if you're updating a property, say in Atherton, Woodside, Hillsborough, it is really important that we move the hardware up a couple grades, MTech hardware or better. And we want to make sure that we have hollow core doors. And this is where things like we don't want to use necessarily Andersen windows, but we would want Fleetwoods in there instead. So the choice of materials and the finishing really impact buyer desirability and outcome of that property. And then I'm going to leave you with buyer tips and seller tips in the coming 90 days. Because the market is volatile, Bay Area market usually overcomes short-term volatility quite well, but if volatility continues to be a thing for months on end, affects the global market, what we may see is investors move from investors basically do not like unpredictability, and they want to move into something that is stable and predictable. And over the years, that has been not just United States real estate, but Bay Area real estate in general. And in the last recession, towards the end of it, we saw a lot of foreign buyers move their cash into the US and thereby driving up prices, creating a frenzy combined with the Feds dropping the rate. So just because we have market volatility, the headline for buyers is do not expect deals out there. The other thing is, Wallace, you and your team find deals and you guys are able to put together crazy opportunities, it seems like fairly regularly, and that's because we see the market all day. We understand when something's a deal, we understand what it takes to purchase that. And more often than not, rather than just writing offer blind, the big headline there is make sure your realtor calls the listing agent and talks about seller expectations, what to write in the offer, how to write the offer. All that is going to take a lot of the guesswork out of the game. And really, that's why we exist and what we do. But a couple tips for buyers in this scenario that has worked with our past buyers in volatile markets. One, because the market is volatile and most of your assets, especially most of your down payment, is in the market, pull that out of the market and have that sitting there in something that's less risky, a money market account, or if you're gonna move quick, even just a checking or a savings account. That way it's there and it's ready when you find the right property, it'll go right in and you're not worried about what the market is doing because you pulled it out of the market already. The second thing is don't expect for the best deal ever. You're not the only one looking for the best deal ever. Properties on the market are generally going to sell for what the market commands for it. We will look for certain things like days on market or how fast a seller needs to sell something or move something, or there are potentially, say, canon events that happens in a person and a seller's life that we could take advantage of. But for the most part, you're gonna walk into properties and you're gonna go into property. You're gonna find one that you absolutely fall in love with. All the rules go out the window, and it's most important to make sure you have the funds there and you are ready to close. Also, we're seeing pretty aggressive loan close scenarios, 14 to 15 days in a lot of cases. So if you're serious and you want to squeeze out every advantage, talk to your lender, get fully pre-qualified and underwritten, and make sure they could close quick. And I think they're good for 90 days. So as 90 days come up, kind of re-up and keep going through that process. Some tips for sellers. We really can't time the market, but I do want to be clear about taking two things into consideration. Do not go on the market during a popular 3-day away weekend. Your strongest and your most aggressive buyers are always families who need more room and need the space and want to move in and continue the chapter of your home. And if they're in Tahoe or Salt Lake City or traveling through Europe, they're not going to be there to make those offers. So you want to make sure you go on the market when they're around. The other thing is, as we come into April, there's traditionally a few weekends or weeks here with rains and showers. We also want to avoid that. Purely because, one, it's a mess. We don't want your property trashed, even though we'll clean it right afterwards. It also discourages buyers to fully come out. They may just say, well, we're gonna stay indoors or do something indoors rather than go out and look at homes. As we move into the summer market, we're gonna expect inventory increases to rise. Buyers are gonna have more choice. Us as agents, we're gonna have to work harder to coax and entertain and convince buyers to write those offers that we're looking for. So while we always chase highest price point in the shortest amount of time for sellers, we do have to set the expectation that it may take a little bit longer to secure the offers that we are looking for. Average days on market to an accepted offer are lengthening. So rather than the normal, say, 4 to 5 day acceptance, we may be looking at 14, 15, 20, all the way up to potentially 30 to 45 days to find that right offer, depending on the quality of your home and the price point you're at. So that's me coming from you with what we see in Q1 and what we expect in Q2. You have a lot of choices in real estate. It's always a pleasure hearing from you guys, and we love hearing from all of you and all of our clients, seeing what you're doing, what you're up to, and of course, we're here to celebrate your or solve your real estate needs. You have a lot of choices in real estate. It's a privilege to work with every one of you. I look forward to talking with each of you soon. Thank you.